It's time for the Security Token Show. We're here to bring you the latest and greatest in security token news.
Coming from across the globe to your living room.
And delivering all the latest STOs and getting you up to date on what's happening in the market.
So what are you waiting for? Let's get on with the show. Hello and welcome to the Security Token Show. Thanks for tuning in here. We're your hosts. I'm Herwig Konings. This is Sonlin. And we're here in sunny Miami, Florida, ready to dive into what is, of course, the latest and greatest in tokenization. Kyle, pleasure to be here. So great to be back. Thank you for everyone who's tuning in to listen to the gospel of security tokens, everything blockchain and technology with respect to the financial markets around the world. But before we dive into our top 5 and everything else that the show has to offer, I do want to thank our sponsors this week, which is DigiShares. DigiShares is a security token advisor success network member, and they have been very active in the industry for years. Specifically, they provide white label solutions for issuers that are looking to bring a tokenized investment product to market, specifically anything from equities, real estate, or debt products. And on the real estate front, they've been very active in the industry, launching their own platform for everything to do with real estate, because obviously it's an asset class we're seeing significant growth and trends towards. So thank you very much to DigiShares for being the sponsor and for all of their support. Huge shout out to the team over at DigiShares and all our sponsors that make this show possible. And with that, Kyle, let's get into the top 5. And starting off with the 5th most important thing you should know about right now, Stobox has announced officially that they are powering the Candela token. We're going to hear more about that from Sam Sachs and a little bit more on our main topic today. But it's an opportunity to invest in Tulum. Very cool stuff now on the Stobox platform. And at number 4, Templum is now working with Masterworks. You may have seen Masterworks from all of their advertising across the platforms. They are fractionalizing art and allowing anyone to invest in artworks of all kinds of famous artists. And now Templum's working with them to tokenize shares of those investments, presumably to manage that process much more effectively and potentially to have a trading market behind it, as Templum provides all those types of services. And wait to see that trading tokenized art. Number 3, Ripple has officially been selected by the Hong Kong Monetary Authority to be able to showcase their real estate tokenization platform, folks, specifically in order to showcase the use behind their HKD currency. This is, of course, their stable coin that they're trying to launch there. And they believe that real estate tokenization is a great use case because, of course, you need a settlement layer using that stable coin. So pretty interesting given the fact that Ripple is now showing signs of interest in the token world. I love it. This makes total sense. We made a main topic on the 7 uses of blockchain for banks in tokenization. And a lot of it stems down to tokenizing deposits allows you to then manage distributions and all those things on chain. Makes total sense. People don't know Ripple has a whole central bank digital currency technology side. And number 2, we've got the World Bank. Their innovation hub has all kinds of research and case studies on the benefits of these technologies, which is great to see. At least there's developments going on internally and exploring the opportunities in these things. And now they've estimated there is a $15 trillion financial gap for infrastructure projects that they're looking to bring to market. And they see tokenization as a potential way to improve this, specifically noting that increasing the investor access through fractional investing is very important, bringing down those investment minimums and increasing the amount of investors who can participate from just those high, accredited million-plus investors to more of those retail people that are trying to participate, as well as reducing costs. Both of these things we've covered here on the show. It seems like weekly, but they note specifically the cost of issuance, as well as a new one for on the show, which is improving the budgeting process through having more transparent uses of funds. Aside from that, they see data transparency as a key piece as well. World Bank did issue a blockchain bond in the past, so love to see them pushing this narrative now for tokenization. And the most important thing you should be walking away with right now that you have to know, OTC markets. Folks, they've officially been approved by FINRA to be able to trade digital asset securities. So they are getting into the security token game, yet another marketplace that we expect to be able to list now tokens in the future. We're going to hear more about that now with Peter Gaffney and the Institutional Update.
All right, welcome back to the institutional segment of the show. I'm Peter Gaffney, head of research at Security Token Advisors. Found a couple gems in the rough this past week, leading off with what I think could be monumental for the secondary trading side of the markets. So OTC Markets Group, who's currently responsible for the over-the-counter trading of 10,000 plus securities, received approval within its existing OTC Link ATS for digital asset securities. Boom. So OTC Link is just one of two inter-broker networks on the ATS side that also enables broker-dealers to act as market makers. So pending integrations and routing from the existing digital ATSs, this has the potential to bridge a number of our industry's marketplaces and overall reduce the market fragmentation, right? Okay, from a narrative perspective, Roman Regelman, CEO of Securities Services and Digital at BNY Mellon, let the world know that tokenization is the next wave of securitization, which would obviously unlock tokenized baskets of products in smaller, more precise sizes and bundles, thus enabling asset and wealth managers to better tailor newfound solutions to a much wider range of their own clients. Very important. BNY Mellon is the world's largest custodian bank with over $43 trillion in assets under custody. They could quite possibly be facilitating tokenization on behalf of any of their clients right now, or at the very least, they're prepped for digital asset custody as that demand kind of solidifies. Lastly, as some validation in one of the key market themes of 2023, as we've been talking about, tokenized money market funds are now having their moment, now accruing a collective $500 million in assets. Franklin Templeton's on-chain U.S. government money fund leading the way at around $275 million in assets. Ondo Finance's short-term U.S. government bond fund at around $140 million, with offerings through Open Eden and Swarm, a couple others filling in some gaps. As a reminder, tokenized money market funds have the potential to act as a yield-generating stablecoin substitute or even settlement tokens within digitally native ecosystems, which is indeed a necessary component to really tap into the cost savings and the transaction time reductions as glorified by the overarching blockchain community. It's very exciting stuff across the board. That's all I have for today. Sending it over to Sam Sachs and his market breakdown.
Hello and happy Monday. The security token market has bounced back this week to $16.8 billion on the back of a Negro Group, which has seen a bump of about 20% on the week. INX Group has released financials for Q1 2023. They reported cash and cash equivalents over $18 million, plus an additional $8.2 million invested in short and midterm duration treasuries. They have a working capital of $24 million, but the Q1 2023 total revenue is at $1.6 million, primarily from transaction and brokerage fees. This is good news, though, because an increase in total revenue of 1% compared to Q1 2022, and an increase of 119% compared to the last quarter, Q4 2022. The net loss is still $4.5 million. OTC Markets has revealed that it had received FINRA approval to provide services for digital assets, which are securities. In the quarterly report, they said that the update to its membership agreement to facilitate transactions in digital securities may enable OTC Link subscribers to quote and trade digital asset securities via OTC Link ATS. However, it is not yet possible to determine whether this activity is going to occur or whether any such activity would have an impact on the OTC Link's financial results. Good news nonetheless. And finally, leveraging as Stobox expertise, Candela has launched the Candela token, enabling investors to enter the blockchain world with Candela Tulum, a boutique community of 12 luxury 4 and 5 bedroom villas nestled in the enchanting Tulum jungle. The token holders will enjoy nightly discounts on their stays, exclusive access to special events at Candela, and rental returns based on the villa's impressive performance. And they say more is going to be announced as well. Good news in Tulum as well. That's all for now, but have an amazing rest of your week, and we'll see you next Monday.
Thank you, Sam, for that colorful and wonderful update as always. And now it's time, Kyle, for our main topic. Let's dive into some thought leadership here.
Episode 189.
189 episodes of thought leadership.
Never running out of ideas.
No, we never will. And this time specifically, even more an expansion on some of the use cases we've seen in the past becoming a full-on trend. Funny, catchy title we came up with, Making Money While You Vacation. The idea being that instead of staying and paying for the hotel that you're at, why don't you invest in the hotel, get some discounts and some perks while you're doing it, right, Kyle?
Absolutely. I think that with tokenization, with these fractional investments, everybody's focused on the wrong thing. We've talked about this internally quite a bit, that liquidity, while it's nice, shouldn't necessarily be the end goal. If the only thing you're trying to do is get somebody else to buy it from you, you've probably not built a very compelling investment. And so one of the values of tokenization is that we can track and manage these things in a programmatic or automated way, which allows for a way to tie our users, our customers, and our investors much more effectively than what we see in traditional markets. Because in traditional markets, it's very difficult to identify in real time who's an investor, how much they own, and all those different demographic pieces. So therefore, you can't really offer a whole lot of benefits to those.
Okay, we actually saw a perfect example of that. AMC, very popular movie theater chain, as we know. They actually offer a shareholder perk like the ones we're talking about today with hotels. Specifically, they offer you free popcorn. And the way you go and claim that free popcorn, Kyle, by checking a box saying that you agree and confirm that you own a share.
That's it.
AMC. That's it.
Oh my gosh.
That's how you then can claim your free popcorn afterwards. But that's because, as you said, the public markets have absolutely no way of actually knowing if you own it because your shares could be held in so many different places. Not the case with blockchain.
Absolutely right. And especially the real estate use case here is fascinating because there's a real property here. So we can potentially offer unique experiences or opportunities to align the people that are investing kind of in like an upgraded, less scammy timeshare style of process where you're actually investing in the property, but it comes with a whole lot of perks and potentially can really tie those pieces together. So I think we have a couple of examples of different properties around the world. This is not just a US-centric thing, or it's not exclusive to just international investors. We're seeing it across the board, and we can dive into some of those today. The first one that we've covered here on the show quite a bit now, if you've watched the whole show, is the Candela property. This is in Tulum. This is a private villa, and they are providing all kinds of cool special events and discounts to stay in the property and participate in this ecosystem as somebody that's going to visit. So I think the idea here is if you're going to go to Tulum, you want to take a Mexican vacation, why not participate in a property that's actually potentially going to pay you back, which will not only provide you rental returns and the actual equity appreciation, but it comes with all types of different access you wouldn't have if you were to go to a different space.
I got to tell you, that's awesome, Kyle. Tulum's actually been on my list for checking out. And I think that's an absolutely great way, again, making money while you vacation. The idea that you can then make money at the hotel, you're getting discounts potentially off the bat. So already you're making money there. But I think I love this idea of experiences, man. Like the fact is, if I were to go to Tulum, I'll have to do the research, figure it out, maybe find some third parties to find out how, some fun things to do. Here, I'm already being told I'm going to get access to events, special opportunities that not many other tourists in Tulum would be able to experience. So I'm pretty excited about that. You get to kind of join a club, a community. Maybe if you're a big fan of Tulum, this dividends well over time.
Absolutely right. And I think that moving over to a property that's already done this and very successfully is the St. Regis in Aspen. We see this now trading on T0 from elevated returns, and they've done a great job of providing shareholder benefits and disclosures. They provide all kinds of monetary updates for their shareholders and provide exclusive events. I know that we've covered in the past. They did that Lamborghini test driving course, all kinds of fun exclusive events only for ASPD shareholders, as well as they offer discounts that are on a gradient based off of how much you own. You get even larger discounts when staying at the property. And potentially there's a whole St. Regis network of properties, and potentially there's additional discounts that come with that. Not to mention, Herwig, it's the best performing token of the last 12 months on the trading side. So they're also providing equity appreciation for the property.
It's a win-win. You got to give them credit for being the original pioneers of this concept.
Absolutely.
Very, very cool. at least in a tokenized form, the full feature set, if you will. So absolutely, everyone I think is very familiar with the St. Regis. A great example of that. We did cover another one on the show. That was one over Japan. So want to go ahead and move from Colorado there. We're going to Sapporo City, where the Onsen Ryokan Hotel by Konings is being tokenized. And, they haven't hinted too much exactly other than what they are calling souvenirs, which I imagine can give up all kinds of stores within the commercial redemptions for cool gifts and things like that. Absolutely. So again, an elevated experience. If you're going to go somewhere, going to spend all that money, maybe you can invest in it, get some benefits and perks out of it, elevate your experience. That's a whole new way of looking at hospitality, Cobb.
It's fascinating. And I think that this is going to be the difference maker for real estate issuers, because there's a lot of real estate all around the world. It's a very competitive market. And if you're trying to target new investor types, which we see all the time, whether it's clients or whether it's new issuers coming to market, they're all trying to reach a new investor base. They're all trying to reach the traditional investor that might be looking for that, 7 to 10 to 15% return from a real estate property. It's safe. All these things that a traditional real estate person is going to try to argue is why it's a good investment. But what's going to capture the attention of the average person? It's all these exclusivity perks and additional utility that you can provide to those shareholders that, to our point from earlier, you were never able to do because it was very hard to verify who actually owns what. Whereas now you've got it in your wallet, you connect your wallet to the portal, and boom, we could instantly see and verify the amount of assets you have.
That is just absolutely fantastic. I think we actually covered this almost 4 years ago on the show.
Yeah.
Laying the foundation here of the hospitality industry for what we call CSOPs, customer stock option plans, if you will, but the very similar idea or concept of, hey, you invest in the company, you're going to get customer perks. And the idea that you can get now enhanced loyalty to the great point with St. Regis, that the more you own, maybe the more perks that you get, and you can now engineer an entirely new way of investing, especially for really big names that, are often, transacted with. You might actually be able to introduce a whole new type of loyalty system. Very cool stuff, I think, Kyle. Anything else you want to add regarding this incredible innovation? I think that, again, a lot of people, like you said, they're looking over at the liquidity and whatever. No. Tokenization is an awesome way of proof of identity, and you enable redemption for experiences and other benefits and perks.
Yeah, you got to give a shareholder a reason to hold and want to own these things and continue to increase their allocation. Access and special things is definitely the way to go. And I think that, to your point, I love the loyalty point. We see loyalty points, no pun intended, all the time in hotel chains and in different networks of trying to align people, because they know that if you're traveling once, you're probably going to be traveling more times, and you want to keep them within your network. What better way to do that than to provide some of these amazing benefits? If these networks of real estate properties can add these access and these events across a network of different hospitality platforms or hotels around the world, you're really going to build an interesting network and really improve the loyalty points experience past just discounts and redeeming those points in the future for things. You can do all kinds of other unique opportunities with tokenization.
Well, Kyle, I think it's a win for everybody. We start to see perks and benefits for being investors in companies and real estate like this. So very exciting future ahead. Of course, if you have thoughts and comments and feedback, questions, you can reach out to us. We're on social media, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end our show with the Companies of the Week.
And to close out our amazing show this week for episode 189, that's a lot of episodes. We're getting close to 200. We've been doing this for 4 years now, just about. I think in June or July, it'll be our 4-year anniversary. So with that, we have to talk about our companies of the week. We've been doing this since episode 1, picking 2 companies that Herwig and I saw that we really wanted to highlight for doing some amazing things. Maybe they were in the top 5 and we wanted to add an additional bit of color. Maybe they weren't. And for this case, I actually didn't include these pieces of headlines in our top 5 because we had so much great news this week. But I wanted to highlight, Herwig, Upstream. Upstream is a company that's working with Merge, which is a licensed exchange in the Seychelles. They are a tech platform providing the exchange services for all types of assets leveraging blockchain technology. And they had two specific headlines that they were doing amazing stuff. I wanted to highlight that. The first one is that they have a new listing. This is VCI Global Limited. They're doing a digital securities offering, which means you can participate in this thing through USDC, stablecoin, or fiat. And this is a traditional NASDAQ listing. They're on NASDAQ and now they're dual listing, bringing the asset onto Upstream, presumably for additional liquidity options and more functionality for additional access to investing in this platform. And this comes on the heels of them also announcing a new broker partnership with Boosted Securities, who specifically is offering U.S. investor access and liquidity into the Upstream economy. We're talking about small cap underwriting, and they're also exploring doing primary offerings as well with Reg CF and A+. And so I just wanted to shout out Upstream because they're blockchain enabled, providing tokenized securities transactions, doing 20-hour trading days, and they're attacking both sides of the marketplace by bringing brokers in on one side, bringing the assets in from the other side. They seem to be doing everything right. It's exciting to see the adoption and development over there.
Yeah, well, that's a great summary of why Upstream is absolutely well-deserved of your choice there. It's not the first dual-listed NASDAQ token that they've listed, and clearly they are on a roll with adding assets, so I think that's awesome. It's a great choice. How about you? Well, I have to go with Templum. I think Templum has been one that's been an original player on the scene. And they've been a little quiet while everyone else tends to be a little louder about what they're trying to do within the industry. They've just been heads down, working, signing clients like Masterworks. Now you got access to Picasso's, Monet's, Basquiat's. It's an incredible selection of art that you can now access. And the idea of democratizing access to capital markets through tokenization. This is it. It's not just about necessarily smaller tickets for all investors, but it's also about getting access to investments you've never been able to do before. So I know for one that I probably would have never gotten access to something like a Picasso if it's not for something like Masterworks, who is the company behind making all that possible, and Templum, who's providing that platform in order to actually trade this and access it. So I'm very excited for what's coming from that partnership. Templum, you in my company of the week. I'm hoping to see even more great things.
Very exciting. That's an OG in the industry. They've been in this space for a long time. Congrats to Templum and Upstream for winning our companies of the week. And with that, Herwig, I think we can call that a show. Like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share it with anybody that you want to help them understand the intricacies of this market. And if you know a real estate issuer, you know somebody exploring tokenization for a real estate property, make sure they check out our main topic to understand the trends in the market.
And as you always know, stm.co, that's where you gotta go. Get all your latest trading information around all the different security tokens and what's happening in the space. We got a pretty awesome report coming out pretty soon. You got to stay tuned for. But with that, Kyle, we'll see you next Monday, and happy tokenizing.